Oh, hey there, folks. Welcome to Turbo Tom's Totally Tubular 10-minute podcast. Am I starting two podcasts at the same time? Yeah, I am because I'm an idiot. But here's the deal. Me and Jesse Dumas and Mark Boquin are starting a podcast. I don't want to announce the name yet because we don't know what it is yet. We have a holding name for it, but we're not for sure on that yet. The reason I'm starting this podcast is to deal with any of the overflow of stuff that I want to talk about that I won't get the chance to on that podcast because it would just be me talking the whole time. And nobody wants that. So basically, I'm going to be answering social media questions, giving you guys updates on what I'm doing. And I will, I've been told that I like to ramble and I like to say a lot. So I'm basically here to just get better at that, talking without trying to do it 1,000 times and take 1,000 takes. I just want to get used to kind of talking and getting to my point a little quicker. I will say I do enjoy rambling about the sport. So this does give me that space to do that. But it also kind of keeps me in the totally tubular 10-minute time frame. So that's what's going to help me, I think. I'm trying to, for some reason, when I'm trying to answer questions, just like holding up my phone, my mind, I'm so ADD, my mind is just thinking about 1,000 things while I'm trying to say like 3 of them. So I just kind of keep talking, and I'm sure it's hard to deal with, but it is what it is. So here is my chance to kind of answer those questions, maybe get to the point quicker, but also have the freedom to dive into it a little more. I feel like once people see someone with headphones in front of a microphone, they're ready for a little bit more of a long form, interaction. That's what I'm doing here. For those of you that don't know, my name is Turbo Tom. I started Lumberjack Sports in 2005 in Hayward, Wisconsin, where I went to high school. That's actually the home of the Lumberjack World Championships. And during the summer months, they do a Lumberjack show there every day. It's like a mock competition. There'll be an announcer. There'll be 4 lumberjacks. And we'll split the crowd into 2 sections. They'll cheer for their team and heckle the other, and vice versa. And we go through several events. There's a handful of different show sites throughout the country, and they all have different formats. But imagine anywhere from 7 to 12 events throughout the show that you'll compete. And at the end, there's always, of course, we crown a winner for every show. So I've been doing that. This is going to be my 19th season. And I mainly got into it in the Lumberjack show format. Not that I didn't want to compete, but that's just how I was introduced to the sport, which is kind of a little bit of a rough way to do it. It's a lot more fun, but we weren't really taught too much proper technique in that in that format. For some reason, we were just kind of taught to be good enough to do the show, and that was it. So I did grow up around a couple of the best speed climbers in the world, but at the time, no one was taking chopping very seriously. So it hasn't been until about, I don't know, six years ago or so where I started acquiring the equipment and taking professional chopping and sawing a little more serious. So I did win a 90-foot world title in 2018, but there's not, you can't really make a living on as a speed climber. So if you want to make money in this sport in the professional division, you got to be chopping and sawing. So that basically that's your options. There's only a handful of speed climbing competitions. So even though I've loved the sport, it's hard to say you're going to dedicate your life to the sport when it's only like a handful of competitions and wouldn't make enough to make a living off of. So not even if you went around and won every single one. So it's tough. So basically that kind of brings me to my next point where I will let me just look at this right here. Okay. I'm trying to keep on this time frame here. So I've been at it for like 5 minutes already. That's great. We got 5 minutes left. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, speed climb, talking about speed climb, and basically that brings me to my next point, and that is that I'm 1 week away from 1 week from surgery. I had surgery last week on my ankle. I broke my left ankle and torn some tendons in it back in 2013, which is almost going on 10 years, and I didn't know it was broken, so they told me it was a bad sprain. So I went on and I did lumberjack shows full time for an entire year. I was climbing and doing I was doing all the events full time as my job for an entire year. And then in 2014, I was at the Lumberjack World Championships again. And during a climb, I at the top of the pole, I lost my rope and out of one hand. And from there, I kind of did my best to stay in control on the way down, but it was a pretty hard fall all the way to the pad. And at that point, my right ankle started hurting. So when I went back to Alaska, where I was doing shows at the time, I went to the hospital and had them MRI both of my ankles, and both of them were broken. So that was my first serious injuries as a speed climber, and it's kind of something I've been dealing with ever since. I ended up having surgery on the left ankle in 2015, and the right ankle just healed as it was because it was a small chip fracture, but the left ankle needed surgery, and I had that in 2015. I went back. Actually, I got the surgery in February 2015, and I still competed at the World Championships that year and broke personal records, I think in both climbs, at least in the one, I think in both. And, so it was feeling better at first. And then after, the last couple years now, it's really started to cause me a lot of discomfort and pain, especially if I'm hard on it. And it restricts my range of motion. And I just feel very limited as an athlete. So I finally went and got it checked out. Sure enough, there are bone spurs in there, and they went ahead and cleaned it up in there, cleaned out all the bone spurs. He said he basically took like a hammer and a chisel and just chiseled away those bone spurs. And he also found like a loose bone fragment inside my ankle that he said that alone would have been causing me some problems. So yeah, I'm in this boot for another week, and then I can start doing physical therapy and stuff like that, and get back on the path to 100%. I do want to climb hard this year if my ankle allows me. I'm not going to push it. I won't do anything to hurt myself. I do want to do my best to take care of my body. It's just not worth it if I can't enjoy the sport in the future from hurting myself when I wasn't, by going too hard too early. So I know for a fact I can get back to like 100% chopping and sawing. That's not an issue. I just don't know how hard I'll be speed climbing or log rolling, even though my ultimate goal is to, and I will accomplish this goal. I will be back to 100% in those events. And I think I will be stronger once this ankle gets healthy. I'm just not 100% sure how hard I'll be able to go this summer in those events. Those are the hardest on my ankles. Chopping and sawing, I can stay pretty safe. And I'm planning on kind of coming back strong. I will try to compete maybe in a couple chopping and sawing events in April if I can before I leave to Alaska, because that is where I'm headed this summer. I'm going to be up there from May 1st through September 31st. That's the time I have to be up there. So actually I have to leave a little early, and because I'm driving up, I'm going to drive through Canada and so I can have my truck up there and stuff. So yeah, basically, I think, according to my time, we have 1 minute left. Will I go over sometimes? Probably. Did I just talk without breathing for 10 minutes? Yeah, I did. That's what I'm talking about. That's why we're here. And that's why I've just got to fucking do this, because I just won't shut up. I had a bunch of shit written out. 10 minutes is tight, but it rhymes with totally tubular. Can't have Turbo Tom's totally tubular, 15-minute podcast. That sounds dumb. So we'll see. I only have 30 seconds left, folks. Thank you for watching and listening to Turbo Tom's first episode of Turbo Tom's totally tubular 10-minute podcast. Tune in tomorrow to hear the rest of the outline that I had set for today. Thanks again, guys, and have a splendid day. 10 minutes.